Hello, everybody. This is Bart Sharp, and you are on Becoming Quantum Conscious at United Public Radio and UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 107.7 and 103.5, broadcasting out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana. And also, that's broadcasting all over the place and on the East Coast on regular radio. But also, we are on the UPRN Talk Radio.com website. That's the big show, I would say, that tune into, but also you can tune into YouTube. I have a great big channel there, and Facebook, and also you can tune into my YouTube at Bart Sharp 1 and become a subscriber to my YouTube channel. That's always dandy. And yes, I am still in France and will be for a while. And all I can say is, if there's any inspiration I give to people, is live as many lives as you possibly can. Do not just be one person, be many things, have diversity, have fun, and amuse yourself in great ways, which really links us into our guest today. Um, Gosh, I'm stuck here. Lee,
It's Idarola. It's okay. Carolann's
Ladarola,
fine.
Carolann Ladarola. I've been really like sweating this name, and then I mess up with your. I just love Carolann because it's so cute. It's like
Thank you.
you should be a '60s high school cheerleader or something, or on a Beach Boys song.
Yeah,
Uh,
there you go.
yeah. But Carolann Ladarola is a radio show host. We kind of got cousin shows, really. Carolann's right after the show, Ethereal Encounters Unveiled, and really goes into a lot of the stuff we do. It, of course, gets into some UFO, some spooky stuff, some
Oh, yeah.
metaphysical stuff, some psychic stuff, going beyond the veil, through the veil, around the veil, and taking you to all of these great places. And
Yeah.
she is on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. If I am at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, you're at 3 p.m., 3:05. I guess, I don't know how she's going to do that for my show. But also Thursdays at 4 p.m. and
Thursdays at
Fridays.
6. Yeah, Thursdays at 6 at Eastern time. I know the time zone thing's crazy. And then Friday at 3 Eastern time.
Okay. Thank you so much. I should know this stuff. I get spankings regularly for it because I work with clients in the West Coast, in California, and I'm in France. And so that means their 8 a.m. is my 5 p.m.
Right.
And it just throws me for a loop all the time.
Me too.
Yeah. It's like walking backwards,
It
moon
is.
dancing or something. It's really strange.
Hi, Michelle. I see you popped in. So good to see you. We love Michelle.
But Carolann has been on my show, and we had a great time. And she's got the topic for today: word magic.
Yeah. How words cast spells on us, and they do. They really do. And we were kind of talking a little bit before, and I was saying I never really thought about it until, I'd say, the past 5 years really have been very impactful for me in terms of not only affirmations, they're important too, but just the words that we speak and the thoughts that we think and how powerful they are. And we can delve into so much of that, Bart. But if you look back, and this kind of blew my mind when I discovered it, that the word abracadabra, right? We heard that as children, like it's an ancient word. And it was believed to be a magical incantation and a formula. And historically, it was used as like a curative charm against illness. And now it's famously associated with like stage magicians. They say abracadabra, right? But it goes back so much deeper than that, because it is believed to originate from an Aramaic phrase, which I'm not even going to attempt to try to speak out, because it's above my pay grade. I don't speak Arabic, but it means I create as I speak. Now think
Yes,
about that. So the origins of that root word are crazy. I mean, and we really do create as we speak, right?
we do. And just imagine if you had past lives Aramaic or something in matter, and you were like embodying that, or something about something deep inside of you coming up as you say abracadabra.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
That that could sound really potent.
Yeah, I mean, everybody thinks it's just this, stage word, but again, like you just have to really start looking at the root of a lot
Hmm.
of the language and the words that we speak, and and again, that ties into affirmations, right? Because words are like directors and movers of energy. They are.
They
And
are.
there's a very famous movie called Dune, the
Woo,
original Dune. Now, I'm
woo.
not talking about the remakes. I'm talking about like the original movie
Oh, and
Dunes.
that wacky director that directed it, who did Eraserhead,
Yeah,
and those other ones, and they gave him that big show, and Dune came out. What was
yeah.
so prophetic about it for you?
Oh my gosh, I kid you not that I remember when that came out, my kids were little and it had to be in the 80s, like back
Hmm.
that far. And I know it so well that I practically know all of the script. Like as I'm watching it. That's how much it impacted me. But one of the things in there that really got me was they used words as weapons, and they had to because they were in a war. And they learned that the words and the breath could be turned into anything that you wanted, and they used it as a weapon. And
Yes,
that whole segment of how that came to be in the movie is so powerful because it's so true. So much of this is rooted, like I said, historically. And people need to take this seriously because these can be tools in our lives that, if we choose to use them with the power and responsibility that we are innately equipped with, and we're all equipped with this, Bart.
we
So
are.
remember that there's never too much power for you to handle. And there's never any reason to be afraid of yourself, despite what we've been taught about our abilities or lack of, right? That we are capable of using words in a way that infuses your life with deep meaning and powerful purpose. It's so true.
And add one other three-letter word,
Yeah.
fun. Lots
Yeah.
of fun to
Lots of fun.
let all of that energy out and come out and just,
Yeah.
you know, knock people over or manifest something that surprises yourself. To
Yeah.
me, that's darn fun.
Oh, I totally agree. And I learned something last week that kind of blew my mind. I learned that a lot of us believe that we're living in a simulation.
Hmm.
Whatever that simulation is, whether it's the Matrix or God created the simulation, it's all up for debate. But there's a lot of us that believe that because we're in this simulation that there are codes and
Hmm.
rules, and one of the rules that the matrix can't break is laughter and sense of humor. It's not coded for that. So when you use laughter and humor, the matrix doesn't know what to do with that. So it's kind of like our little weapon.
Mm,
Just laugh all
mm.
the time and use humor in our lives. And I found that to be so powerful because I think it's so true.
It's so true because it's on the cutting edge of what the electricity of the mind is all about, which
Mm,
things like AI and other dimensional realities, anything that's mechanical, can't really keep up with it. We're so much more faster
yeah,
in those contexts.
I
And
agree.
so yeah, we really spontaneity is the word that I'm just thinking about.
Mm,
Like to just jump and surf.
Yeah. I like
It
that.
really is true. Thinking of one of the favorite words, and this is with my very so-called, well, I don't want to say so-called, they label themselves as Christians. They have a like really rule set thing, and I see them on holidays from time to time, and they're saying amen. And I go, amen, I can agree with that. You know where that word comes from? I'm
Mm,
coming out with my Texan voice because I'm in Texan when I've had this conversation. It comes from Amon, which is the sun goddess or the sun god.
yeah.
So when you're saying amen, you're really saluting something very powerful, the sun and the God being that it truly is. And they're looking at me like, I hate you. Shut
That's
up. Go
yeah.
drink your beer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, a lot of that is, cognitive dissonance. People, as soon as you start getting deep, they don't know what to do, and they kind of lose their minds. So they just,
Mm.
they want to silence you, which is fine. I don't fight those battles anymore. If people want to hear it, I'm there. If they don't, they can scroll. That's the great thing about the internet. They can just move on.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, So, what are there any kind of like favorite statements you like to use or mantras
Gosh, yeah.
or stuff like that?
Oh my gosh, Bart, that's a great question because after my husband passed away, it completely changed my world. I mean, I was always I was born an empath, just knew it at a very young age, became like a light worker where I felt like I had to share this information, and I would try, but back in the day, nobody wanted to hear this stuff. They thought you were crazy. I mean, there was a small population, but if I started talking about that to people. They'd lock me in Bellevue, which is a very famous hospital in New York City. But um, after my husband passed, I started getting these, and again, words, thoughts, they're all interconnected. The thoughts that we have are not always our own. There's
Hmm.
outside forces, whether you want to call them demonic or,
Yeah,
you know,
how the heck does that work? Because I know this concept and I don't think enough people know it, and it's so
mm,
important.
oh gosh, yeah, it really is. It's so important. I interviewed this doctor named Jerry Marzinski a few times because probably several because his work blew me away. He proved after decades of working with schizophrenic patients that in a large percentage, probably over 75%, I don't know the exact number in front of me, but it was large. The voices were coming from outside the person, that they were demonic. If I mean, that's the best word to use. Um, I really can't describe it any other way, and that's the word he used. And that these voices were coming from outside and not his own thoughts, the person's own thoughts, and that they knew very. Hi, Benno. Gosh, so good to
Yeah,
see. Oh, there you are. I see. And he had proved this, and it really impacted me. And Benno says I couldn't sleep. Amun Ra was the supreme state deity of ancient Egypt, formed by merging the air god Amun, patron of Thebes, with the sun and sun god Ra. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's so true.
That's an eye wicker. I can see why you don't sleep, Benno.
Is it late by you, Benno? I don't know where you're located, but it's always so good to see you. Yeah, so discovering that alone changed my life because after my husband passed away, and Bart, I had never, and I'll be careful with my verbiage because this goes on
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah.
We know how they are. But after my husband passed away, I never ever in my entire life thought about walking off the planet. Oh, it's wow, it is early.
Yeah, you
Uh
get the red badge of courage there, Benno. Thank you.
yeah. So I never thought about taking my own life or doing anything like that,
Hmm.
self-harm, whatever you want to call it. And all of a sudden, I started hearing voices that were not my own telling me I didn't need to be here anymore. oh, your husband's not here anymore. So what do you need to be here for? And awful things that I won't repeat, but you guys get the message. And
Yeah.
I knew that that was not my own voice. And it wasn't like I heard it externally. It was in my head, but it was all day different ways of telling me to do this. And I just kept fighting it and fighting it and fighting it with prayer and affirmation, speaking of. And eventually it stopped. And for me, my interpretation of that was that whatever force knew that I was in a grief weakened state, it knew that it could attack. And that's exactly what it did. So
Yeah.
I started using affirmations more and more and more every day. And now I have one that I use several times a day. I use a lot, but there's one consistently that I use several times a day. And I always, anytime I get stressed out or feel anxious, I always say these words. And I say them out loud because, again, the power of words, right? I say, everything is fine in this now moment. The universe
Mm.
always works in my favor. And that has saved me on so many occasions. I can't even explain.
Yeah, I would think that if you said something like that, the deeper you felt it in your heart and you just connect with your heart and those words come out, it would even be more powerful.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
This is in relation to that. I mean, that's a phenomenal story. It's highly intense. It's highly messages from the other side, but it also can be as common as like going to a party and feeling horribly alone. I went to
Mm,
a party where I didn't know anybody, and I'm a kind of a social guy. I know how to smooze and
sure.
stuff, but I felt terribly lonely and isolated. And I asked the question, is this mine? And I felt this
Mhm.
no inside of me. And I go, well, is this everybody else's? And I'm going, yeah, these people are really trying so hard, almost like they're a big matrix, a facade, and they're all lonely. And that makes me feel lonely. It's kind of like it's as simple as that, too. It
Yeah,
has lots of applications.
it sure does. And I think that, like, even if you look at science, right? Science has proven that we have what I mentioned before, confirmation bias. So if you go to this party, Bart, and you think, I'm so lonely, your brain will look for proof of that. Your brain, and this is science, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, your brain filters reality using something called selective attention. So if you tell yourself that or you think it, right, your brain
Uh-huh.
starts to scan for proof.
Yeah.
And you notice the betrayal more than you notice the loyalty.
I think
Thank
it's a
you.
lot with what your limitations are. We wanted
Yeah.
to say hi to Martin Loftus.
Hi, Marty. Thank you
He's
so
from
much.
he's from where I'm staying in France. In fact, he's downstairs.
Oh, wonderful.
What is your understanding of the word mantra? I think mantra is a something that you say that has an has a vibration to it. Every word has a vibration to it. But if you say, this is a favorite, it comes from the book, The Word of the Pilgrim, the Path of the Pilgrim. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. It resonates something in your heart. If you say it
Mm,
again and again, it really vibrates the heart stuff. Uh, but you could even say something like, I'm having a good time or whatever, and it builds that. You maybe start with just saying it, but you want to just see how it makes you feel and amplify that. That's the power
absolutely.
of it. It's a whole
Oh,
body
yeah.
consciousness.
Oh, it totally is, because mantra's a sacred sound, word or
Hmm.
phrase. So you can really chant anything and use it for meditation or affirmation or mindfulness. Um, any sound can be a sacred sound, I believe. And again, your intention is, yeah, I agree with that, Benno. We need
Yeah,
the fifth. Yeah.
so can I respond to that with Benno? It's just like if you're going to use a sacred sound, this is a toning technique that I use. I will say, okay, so what source out wherever can facilitate the vibration of the fifth dimension? And maybe I'll start going down a list. And probably the most obvious one would be the center of the sun or the center of the earth. Maybe angels, my guardian angel. She knows
Mm,
what that's all about. So that's my source. And I go, okay, so where does it need to go into my body? Might need to go into my heart. A lot of times it needs to go into my sacral or my three bottom pelvis bones. And then I go, okay, where does the sound need to go to create this fifth dimension stuff? Does it need to stay in my body? Does it need to go out throughout the room? Whatever. So those are the three things I do is source, where it goes
mm,
into my body, and where is it going after that? Then I
yeah.
take a deep breath and some tone comes out and it
Mm.
resonates with my question.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's a good technique. I take people to a lot of sacred sites here in France. That's what I do. I'm a tour guide. So we found, and thanks, give credit to Freddie Silva, the really genius tour guide and author, that he would say, you need to tone at these sites. That's how you wake them up, so you get the right frequency and things change.
Yeah, agree. It's all
So
about energy, frequency. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so it's really fun to do that. In fact, I think you have more control in your reality because when you get the voices, so many people lose their control. They lose their
Mm,
power.
right.
They believe it. They believe that they're helpless with it. And it's just like, no, that's just something in the matrix coming into your body.
Yeah. I mean, I totally believe in the battle of light and dark.
Mm-hmm.
And the dark loves loosh, as they call it, which
Mm-hmm.
is our energy, and they like it in any form they can get it, whether it's negative thoughts, negative actions, speaking negative things. They love that loosh. And you're right.
Loosh. Where
Loosh.
did you where did you get that word? I've never heard that word before. Loosh.
You never heard loosh?
Ooh,
Oh my goodness.
loosh. It's
It's
juicy. I like it.
it's in the spiritual community big time.
What?
Yeah, especially when talking about the demonics and how they feed off of our energy called loosh. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta use that.
Oh, it's a good one. 'Cause it's
No,
true.
no, I'm true. I clear entities all the time, but it's I've just never heard that concept. It's
Yeah.
so true. I mean, I think something that would be more appetizing to any entity, from a lower dimensional plane is you in fear or anger or addiction,
Wow.
whatever, because they just love that energy that you're putting out there.
Sorry, I was saying hello to Koo Thunder. It's always so good to
I
see
know
you.
I'm not keeping up, am I?
It's okay. It's okay. So good to see you, Koo.
Yeah, welcome.
So what did Benno say? I think I'm a vessel.
Uh, I think I'm a vessel. I think we all are. We must decide we are a vessel of good and of or things that will continue to decline. Yep,
Yeah, that's a good
yep,
one.
yep. What do you believe? What do you react to? What do
Yeah,
you align with?
right. We are all vessels. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why I think people sing. They do all of this voice work
Oh yeah.
because it raises their vibration
Oh
and
yeah.
it gets that nasty demon out of the way called your mind and your
Yeah.
ego.
So true. So true.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you think of the word spell, right? It ties back again so historically. Many traditions, like the Kabbalah in ancient Egypt, as we said, they had a belief system that spoken words were believed to create reality. So, like if you look at the Bible, it says, in the beginning was the word. right?
Yes.
That's where it
What
all starts.
what do you think that means?
Well, I mean, I'm not too much on the Old Testament. I
Yeah.
am on the newer test. I like the New Testament and much better, but that God created the world with a word and he spoke us into existence. And again, showing the how powerful words are. He gave us that ability and I think we misuse it, we abuse it. Yeah. We must magnify the just and good. We project to shift the scales. Yeah. Because there's such a thing as natural law, right, Bart?
Yes.
You can take religion out of the conversation completely. There's a thing called natural law, and it's innate to all humans. And it's just, thou shalt do no harm. Like, just don't do harm to other people in any way, shape, or form. That's an innate, I believe, moral compass that all humans are born with. And if people would just obey that, the world would be such a better place.
Yeah. I like to call that kind of embodiment of really
Yeah.
being in close to your body and
Yeah.
being in touch with something deeper inside of you and learning how to walk with that all the time. And that's really tough. We all want to get into our fears. We want to go into the future. We want to go to the past instead of being present with this right now, which generally takes us to our heart. But also, it's generally taking us to the midpoint of the show. And I want to let everybody know that you're listening to Carolann Ladarola.
I
She
don't know.
is she Ladarola. Yay! Uh, she is the host of the UPRN Talk Radio. That is the radio show that you're on, UPRNtalkradio.com and UFO Paranormal Radio. In case you've been wondering where the heck you are right now, that's where we are right now at 107.7, 103.5 out of New Orleans, Louisiana. And Carol Ann hosts Ethereal Encounters Unveiled on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays.
Thank
She
you.
is taking it to the streets, folks. And yeah, so also you can get her on her website at www.etherealcountersunveiled.com and her Facebook group. And she's out everywhere. She doesn't stay at home.
Oh,
Well,
no.
maybe her body stays at home, but
Right. Exactly.
etherically and internetally, she is out there.
Oh, I'm
So
out there. All right.
yeah. So any new projects you're doing beyond radio or?
Yeah, I'm of course trying to write a book. I've been told by my spirit guides that I need to write this book, and I've been trying to do that. It's going to focus about around empaths and kind of like what they have to go through to step up their game and use their skills wisely. So I've
Mhm.
got that going on, and I also have another business called Sassy Townhouse Living, and I do product reviews and I write articles and you can visit that at sassytownhouseliving.com. I would appreciate it very much. I do a lot of home decor, crafting, recipes, all that lifestyle stuff. So
Yeah.
between everything, it keeps me very busy.
Yeah, and not boring.
Right, right.
I think that's one of the worst disgraces you can have is boring. It's like, what
Yeah.
is the vibration of boring? And it's like,
Awful.
and that's what we really need to challenge ourselves with is how to get out there. I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you one of the words that I use a lot. It's not a word, but I'm always asking questions.
Oh, wonderful.
What do you think of using questions?
I think that they are truly the only answers. I know it sounds paradoxical, but that's the only way we discover the truth within is by asking questions. And it's so funny because I discovered that way back in college. I couldn't stop asking them. And I actually won an award. I won a communications award because I was basically one of the few in most of the classes that would take a risk and ask questions. And yeah, it's a risk. It's a risk to ask the questions because you're putting yourself out there, and a lot of people don't like to do that. But I believe, Bart, that that's the only way we discover the truth.
We do. I think questions open up our consciousness.
Absolutely.
And I
What
like
Marty
this with
says, language
Martin says,
evolves all the time. Yeah.
yeah, Martin told me a really interesting concept. He said that why the English language became more used than the French language is that we have something like 50 million words in the vocabulary. I'm probably wrong with that stat, maybe 5 million. And the French had like a minuscule amount.
Mhm.
The French is kind of like, I always have a theory there, they go back to Aramaic,
Ah,
but they use more of a tonal or using their vowels to express it through emotions, whereas the English language doesn't have that. It's more
that's a
dramatic.
that's a great
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. So there's so much more you can express with language, with English.
Mhm.
See, Martin, I do listen to your conversations, just by the way. Um, I think David had a good and gentle soul. May he rest
Oh,
in peace.
I know who you're talking about. Wilcox. You know, I know. David Wilcox
Has
supposedly
gone?
he walked off the planet. I don't want to say the word because it gets flagged, but um,
Wow. I
he
didn't
took
know.
yeah his own life yesterday, and I was absolutely I have to say deeply saddened. I watched him every week from his podcast. Been following him for years,
Yeah.
and
Amazing.
it's devastating what's happening to these scientists around the globe. Well, I think there's
Yeah.
13 of them now where they're
Wow.
investigating. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Well, it's a funny thing about consciousness, whether it be scientists or they're doing this with the holistic health professionals, they keep disappearing or having
yeah.
a mysterious suicide. And, the funny thing about it is more people are doing holistic work. They're looking for new ideas because that's what the spiral of consciousness is putting forth. And we salute David Wilcox, a warrior,
A warrior.
and more warriors are springing up. Maybe whoever we're talking to out there, maybe it's your turn. This is what Mary Magdalene told me when I channeled her the other day.
Mm,
You know what profound word she said?
what?
Got to have a drum roll. Get to work.
Ooh, that is profound and true.
Yeah,
And I
it's
think
true.
what we're all trying to do here, Bart, I really think that that's what we're doing here. We're trying to get to work.
Yeah, we got to get after it, folks. To listen and to learn, with podcasts and radio shows and books and all the stuff. But, what is your dream and desire? And once again, I'm asking a question. And sometimes they just pop up.
Mm,
Yeah, they just pop up when you ask.
they do. They do.
And I like this one. And the skeptics are denying a pattern exists at all, even though the facts are available. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
so true,
Why,
Benno.
why wouldn't they? They're skeptics.
Yeah. And again, I tie it all back to cognitive dissonance. They have
Yeah,
structured, their political beliefs have become their identity. And that's
yeah,
a bad
yeah.
thing that happens.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, I can say for my own self, I grew up in a very protected rural lifestyle in Texas, of all places. You can only imagine what that was
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Country and Western music with boots and hats.
Sure.
But it creates all of these things that you see as barriers, and you get very comfortable with them.
Absolutely.
You know, any things that you could say that how do you break barriers in your life with you're afraid of? Because you stepped out, your husband transitioned, and here you were on your own. There are many
Scared to
mirrors of
death.
your life. What were you saying to yourself? to get out
Oh
of
my
that?
word, that's a powerful question. But again, I'm going to go back to Dune because in Dune, Paul says, "Fear is the mind killer. I will not
Amen.
fear. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will walk through my fear," and that's what you do, Bart. You have no choice. You either walk through it, walk through the flames, or you leave. Ignorance is no excuse of the yeah. James
Yeah.
said the truth. Yeah,
But we got to keep looking, and we can't look at it with fear. We got to look
exactly.
at it with possibility.
Hey,
And
let's face it, it's scary to be on this planet. You know,
yeah,
we're not from here. This is not where we belong. I believe that fully. You know, we're stardust. We're cosmic beings, and we're on this planet to fulfill whatever lessons that we need to learn. And we all just want to go back home. You know, I think we have an
yeah,
internal desire just to go home. And I think that's what passing is too. It's the return back home.
yeah, but we wouldn't be able to eat hamburgers anymore.
I know. That would suck.
I'm sorry I had to say it, but
That
I
would suck.
I know there's a lot of challenges to this reality,
Yeah.
but God, the sensuality of living in a body that can feel all of this stuff
Right.
and interact with, and yeah, you get to feel pain. It's like me dancing every day. That's what I do. I still hurt, but
Yeah.
the joy of dancing, it's
Nice.
incredible.
It's good exercise too.
Ah, it is, but it's just fun,
What kind of dancing do you do?
all kinds.
Oh,
But
nice.
it's just heart's desire. I was a dancer in my 20s. Now I'm
Ah,
much older, and I decided to pick it up again.
good for you.
Yeah, but that's
And
the
it's
whole
fun.
thing about in this question of words and stuff that you know what do you tell yourself to open yourself up to the next possibility?
Yeah.
You know, uh, I think it's all out there. I mean, your answers are all out there. You just want to ask.
I don't know that.
Oh,
Ashraf?
hi. How you doing? F, you had to explain that a little bit better. I know it's a very sweet slang. I think he was
Yeah, a lot of
killed.
people think that,
Yes.
Sarah.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
of people I think she's talking about David.
Yep.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It's kind of hush hush right now because they're doing an investigation, but he gave, if you watch his podcasts, you will see that he gave a lot of clues as to what was going on in his life. And I think you could be right about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We are. God gave us the senses and taste as one of them, as there's a chance you may be able to enjoy the taste of a burger in the next life. They taste really good right now.
They do.
I like American burgers better than French burgers. The
Oh, is that
French
right?
French use too much mayonnaise and it's not as
Oh, we
spicy
don't put
enough.
mayo on a burger, really. It's ketchup,
Yeah,
isn't it? Yeah.
yeah. I'm having a party in a couple of weeks and I'm going to school everybody on a good burger.
Oh, there
But
you go.
yeah, that's kind of fun stuff. But the wine here is incredible and the
Oh,
chocolate is
I bet.
orgasmic.
I'll bet. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, just I just love the magic of words, and
Mm.
I think of people like think about some of my favorite actors that just know how to coin an expression, and this really tells my age. So please be forgiving. Like who speaks sexy like Mae West? Like, you know,
Oh, yeah.
the sex just rolled out of her, and it was all in that tongue.
Yeah.
No, or Morgan Freeman. You
Oh,
just
another great one.
confidence. M-
Absolutely.
Marilyn Monroe, seduction.
Another one. Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
it's so true, Bart, because if you think about it, the words that we use alter our body chemistry immediately. They do.
mm,
Language affects emotional response which affects our physiology. So negative phrasing can lead to stress response, your cortisol increases. The words that you use can trigger measurable biological changes in a matter of seconds. That should tell you everything you need to know. That's
So
science.
whatever I'm thinking and feeling is creating my chemistry
Absolutely.
and my
Cortisol,
power and my
yeah,
power to be embodied. And when I say something,
yeah,
people actually believe me.
absolutely. If you walk around saying, and I stopped doing this, like, because I have a knee that occasionally bothers me from my years of karate. And I used to walk around going, "Oh, my knee is killing me. Oh, my knee is," and I hate to even say it now, but it's for conversation. And I used to go around saying that all the time, and my knee was always bothering me. Well, I detached from that phrase
Mhm.
and I no longer use the words I just say, like, even to myself, oh, the body part knee is hurting today, or I try not to attach the
Yeah.
words to the pain, if it makes sense. And that made a
Yeah.
huge difference in my life.
I,
Not
I like to,
complaining all the
I,
time.
I'm moving forward with that. I have inflammation and it comes up and I'm just saying, well, we're moving forward with it. And
Yeah.
I have that attitude like, what can I do that can move my body to
Mm.
where I'm not stuck? It's no fun to be in pain.
Oh God, no. We all have it. but
Yeah.
but it's so interesting how you can, when you change what comes out of your mouth, it changes the way you think about the thing, and that detaches you from it. I'm telling you, it made such a huge difference in my day, just not complaining like that anymore.
It
Yeah, I love
it
you, Matt.
does.
Just talking about
Yeah.
him this morning. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And magnesium over the years helped me in my
Yes,
left knee. I totally
I
agree.
I started magnesium. Good point there. Yeah. Yeah.
But
I mean,
but
we're not getting
also
medical advice, but as a supplement, magnesium's a good one.
this is my favorite question to ask for any problem. I
Mm.
mean, any problem. What is right about this that I'm not getting?
Oh, yeah.
And I swear, either something in my subconscious pops in or something beyond my embodiment pops in and I'll have an idea. Or
Mm.
like I'm looking for the keys in my house or in my, while I'm in my house, I ask the question and I turn around or I walk into the room and there they are. You know, uh, it's just amazing how
Mm.
it works. What is right about this that I'm not getting?
Yeah, that's a good
Uh,
one.
it really is because we want the whole body to open up its consciousness.
Yeah. Well, that's why I love the part of my affirmation that says the universe always works in my favor. So even
Yeah.
things that happen that are not in our favor, things that you wish didn't happen, are always in your favor for a reason. Always.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool, Minnow.
Yeah.
Magnesium building cartilage.
Yeah. I've heard that before too.
Wow. I
Plus,
hadn't.
it's good to take every day, especially for women, because women are depleted in that naturally.
Hmm.
I think women go, have
Hmm.
a depletion problem with that. But yeah, it's a good advice.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So think you were saying something and we kind of got off target there.
Oh, I was just talking about how the universe always works in your favor, even when you don't think
Yeah.
it does. It always does. So even negative things, things you didn't expect, outcomes you wished were different, there's always a reason, and the universe always works in your favor, whether you realize it or not. I believe that.
Yeah. That goes along with the whole universe is working in an upward spiral. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, if I'm working in an upward spiral, if I'm doing things And it's as much as releasing my limitations as it is activating new ones. They
Mm,
both work, but there's this feeling I'm always going upwards when I'm doing that. To me, that makes all the difference in the world. I'll never have all the answers. This world will not be perfect. There's
no.
always problems. There's always, well, I want to curse right now. People that screw things up for you. That's
Mm,
always going to happen. But yet, if I'm on the spiral, it doesn't seem to affect me as much.
yeah, that's a good point.
Cravings in pregnant women are nature's way of telling you what your body needs.
Telling you,
Yeah,
I think.
telling
Yeah,
you. I
yeah,
like
that's
yelling to you. I'm going to use that as a slang on you, Martin, when I see you tomorrow. Um, anyway,
that's true.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, indeed. Wow, wow. This has been a lot of fun.
It has.
Um,
It goes fast.
it does. Um, so just thinking about your show, because you are a person, it's really obvious you are a woman, like, kind of like a messenger with wings.
Oh, thank.
You are meant to carry messages.
Yeah, I believe so.
So when you do a show, you know, what do you think makes it unique and special when you get a show that really works? You
Mm.
know, any qualities that you think that you bring to the topic that you go, yeah, this is my gift to the world.
Yeah, that's such a good point to close with. I think as an empath, I have been able to use that gift for discernment, and that's another big thing. A big lesson that I learned is to use discernment. And like people will say to me, "Do you do readings?" Like, and I get asked that a lot. No, I don't, because I think there are some things that I'm meant to share and others that I'm not. And I think when I'm interviewing people, that I pick up on that just through the
Mhm.
video, just through speaking with someone. And that's what I love about talking to people and having these interviews, because everybody has something wonderful, a gift to share with humanity. And that's what it's all about.
And sometimes they don't know all the messages. They want to say a lot of messages, but they get on the show and it
Mm,
isn't coming out.
right.
Does that intuition come in there? And
Oh, yeah. It does. And that's what, going back to what you said about questions, that's where that skill kicks in big time. Because it doesn't happen often, but every now and then I'll get a guest that just, will, like, I'll ask them a question and they answer it in one or two sentences and then just sit there. And, being able to rapid fire, oh, thank you, Benno. Being able to rapid fire those questions, Bart, as you know, you do this every week yourself. That's a
yeah,
gift. It really is. That's a gift in and of itself. Knowing what to ask, right?
yes,
Yeah,
yes, it
absolutely.
really is. And then something about you're not in your head, you're in a
Mhm.
bigger space. And so you really feel that person
Yes.
and you step into the reality. Can you give anybody advice on how they can do that for the show? That I think if we can give somebody a little guidance with that, they would walk away with something that they can put in their pocket and carry home.
I think again, discernment is a big one. Listen to your inner voice. Your guides will speak to you and it will sound and feel differently than your own thoughts. And a lot of
Mm,
us don't do that. We don't listen to, we're all intuitive innately, every human on the planet. And I think if you just take a breath and listen to that voice and use your discernment. So, like, hypothetically, if you meet someone and you get a bad vibe and your vibe is telling you, walk away from that person, don't interact with it. Listen to that.
mm,
That's my best advice. Listen to your
mm,
intuition and your inner voice. It's there and it's powerful.
It does, and it's always trying to guide you.
Yes.
Sometimes you wonder,
Sometimes
but
we don't always listen, right?
well, it's really funny because sometimes some of the harder lessons that come through your life, and you feel like you get jack slapped with a
Yeah.
relationship or something of a situation, but when you get on the other side, then you go, "Oh, I learned a tremendous amount of stuff with that."
Mm,
And maybe that's the unconscious part of us guiding us into that.
yeah.
And I'm not always a believer in that everything's a field of roses and poppies wherever you walk.
Oh
Sometimes
no.
we do walk through this stuff.
Oh, good Lord. Constantly.
You know, you
Constantly.
know, yeah, I mean, even when we're talking with people in the show, it's like I think I've been a little funny this show, which I'm not always funny. Sometimes I'm serious or
Yeah.
it's not sparking, but with you, it's pretty sparky.
Absolutely it is.
And I just don't, it's like, wow, what a pleasure it is to get to do a
Oh,
show with you because we're
thank you.
just we're just having a good time.
We are. We're cousins. We're network.
Woo! Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely, Bart. It was a pleasure speaking with you today.
Yeah. So we got about a minute left. And can you give the audience, this is always a traditional question. I'm not picking on you, but I am picking on you. Um, a word of advice for everybody. And while you think about your word of advice, I'm going to tell everybody that you've been listening to Carolann Ladarola, and she is the host of Ethereal Encounters Unveiled, which is actually right after this show. She's a
Yes.
strong working girl. That's on Wednesdays at 3 o'clock, but also she has shows on Thursday and Friday. We are on United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network, in case you're wondering. Um, and Also, for next week, we have Anna Otero, who is a specialist in the Aramaic language and
Oh,
using this for healing, transformation. She does mantras. I don't know if I can say this word on radio, but she is a bad A. If I
oh,
get
you
my drift. She is
can.
so talented. I'm always, whenever I get to talk with her, I always learn something that always surprises me.
Oh, we'll
So
have to watch that for sure.
yeah, Anna Otero, she's amazing. Okay, so Indus, would you mind ending us with a little bit of wisdom, Carolann?
I think it's love and tolerance. I would pick those two words. Absolutely. Let's just love each other. It sounds trite, but it's so true. And let's be tolerant of each other too. And I think we've lost that. We need to get that back.
That is so brilliant. It's so true, so direct, so basic common sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much, Bart.
Thank
This
you,
was
hon.
fun.
And
Thank you.
thank you, everybody, for joining in and listening
Thank you,
in. And we'll see
everyone.
y'all next
Leave a
week.
cast. So good to see you, everyone. And I'll be on in like 5-10 minutes. I think 4:10. We're
Yeah.
gonna go live.
Yeah,
Got
we
an
need to
exciting
give her,
show
we got
today.
to give her a coffee break. So we'll see y'all
Yes.
later. Bye
Thank
bye.
you, Bart. Bye, dear
Thank
friend.